Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. William Morris. Okay, I have finished my background. It has been completely canvas stitched down. It took forever, but it was so much fun. I really enjoyed just working my way around the patches. Yeah, mindful sewing at its best. It was just so good. Now I guess the mindful sewing is over and the stressful sewing begins because we need to work out how we're going to embellish our piece. Background's done. Time to have a think about what happens on it. We've got these blocks of space that can have something highlighted in it. So I've grabbed out some more fabrics, just a bit of a selection that matches the background. They're unfortunately not William Morris. And I tossed around, what do I do? Do I go and find some William Morris fabrics that are of a different colour? Because the applique on there, I want to sort of, stand out but blend. And then I thought, no, I have so many fabrics, it's ridiculous. So I grabbed a chunk, bringing into it a little bit more of the blue with a little bit of the mustard to tie it into the background and some olive. And then from my quilting days, I have a bucket of scraps. It is huge and there's a bit of everything in there. So, and I haven't been in there for ages. I was doing real country coloured inspired quilts. So I'm thinking I'm going to dive into that bucket and look for elements that sort of blend but also give us a little bit extra so that we can see what we're going to do next. I'd hate to go through all the work and not see the appliques. So I'm planning on having a go at needle turn applique. Having said that, if I find that I just don't like it because I haven't done it for years and I decide that it's just laborious, I'll go back to more of a rustic slow stitch where I just whip stitch it down. We'll see. We'll give it a go. Now, the next thing is design. So William Morris is all about flowers and there's some birds through this piece. So I went hunting into sketches for colouring in books and typed in folk art type style images. And this is what I've come up with. I've got two birds. I found a singing bird and also a floral treatment which sort of fits with the style of William Morris, I think. I also found a peacock which I think is gorgeous, and there was a peacock somewhere in amongst all this. It might have been on the papers. So I'm thinking of doing a peacock and that bird sitting in amongst a heap of flowers. Now, flowers, I found this image. I really like the tulip shape. The leaves, not sure, but they're there if we need them. Then I found a second tulip, which is just a slightly different way of doing the tulip, which I thought might be nice to mix in amongst it. And then, of course, we've got our flower here. So a combination of all of those will weave up through the panel. Okay, so let's have a go at Mr. Bird first. I think he'll be easy enough for me not to feel like I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Not so much on the design aspect, but it's the needle turn applique. So I'm thinking Mr. Bird can be right at the top here. And then the floral treatment will go out from there. Okay, so what I need to do is trace off all of my elements that I need for the bird. So let's start. Now, I'm going to, I just use pen. Now, if I remember rightly, you just trace them neat, as in right on the line. And then when you cut them out, you add a bit of a seam allowance that turns under. what I should have done is move that. That's better. So how is everyone today? Hope you're all fine and dandy. So when this is underneath, okay, so that's his body, his wing, his head. Now we'll just do his tail. And one sits on top. And this one is tucked underneath, so he needs to be a little bit bigger on the side. Okay, so there's our little bird traced. So let's cut him out. I might start with his tail feathers. That's his lower body, so we might I sort of feel like I want to bring a lot of blues in, but I'm just not going to set restrictions for myself. I'm just going to go with the flow. So I'll cut them out to my line, and then when they get onto the fabric, I can cut from there. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, and now his head. Concentrating. That's what I'm doing. I'm concentrating. So I hope you've enjoyed the series so far. Making the journal and now into a stitchery piece. You know, it'd be so easy to turn that piece into a quilt. But oh, that camphor quilting. I'm glad I got it out of my system because I've been admiring it for years. I've watched so many little documentaries on how they do it. Not that the way I did it was the way they do it, because they use it so that it makes the backing as well as the front, and it's all done in one process, where I've got a mess on the back. And I changed directions on every patch. I didn't just follow a line. So it will need backing if I make it into a quilt. I don't think I will, but you never know. It'll go into the cupboard once it's done. And one day I might pull it out and add a panel to it. Just keep adding and adding, and one day it may be a quilt. Okay. That's a good start. There's all my bits. Now, probably can't remember where it all goes. So, let's get that base body. We'll put a dark blue down there. I might use this scrap here. I'll feel better if I use some scraps. It'll be nice. Let's just pin that onto there. Oops. Now, see, I've done it wrong already. I haven't allowed enough room for the turning. So I just need to reposition that to give myself that edge that we're going to need. So that's the belly of the bird. We'll make his wing a colour that stands out a little. So maybe an orangey. Everything's so bright. Maybe a mustardy colour. Buttercup Blooms is the name of this. It's a Blake Riley fabric. So that was his little wing. Yep. Where's my fabric scissors? So allowing a seam allowance. Okay. There's the wing. That'll sit over the top of that. Okay, I like that. Now maybe we give him a green chest. What have we got? Got to be a little bit careful with green because we're going to have a lot of green leaves through the piece. I only have a little itty bit of this, so this will be good. I can use this and not be concerned that it's a great green for the branches and leaves. So that's his chest. That's his wing. His head. What will we use for his head? Do we give him another blue head? What have I got in here? Do we give him a dark orange head? Do we give him... There's a mulberry colour. Sort of not in keeping with that. Let's have a further look. I'm going to give him a orangey coloured head. There'd have to be a scrap of this in this basket. I've made so many things with it. I'm just going to have another little look. There, close. That'll do. Mr. Bandit. Okay, one head. Now his plumage. Well, I definitely want to get more blue into him. Here's a blue. Here's a blue. So let's have a look. That's his top feather. We'll try and go as light to dark. And that'll give the impression that we've at least thought about our positioning of papers and fabrics. This is a good dark one, so I'll put that at the bottom. And now we'll put something that's like a pop of fun. Just looking at those fabrics. Maybe an olive, I'm thinking. Maybe a stripe. So his little tail feathers would be that one, and then we won't do a stripe because stripes can be a bit tricky when it comes to making them look like they're straight. So let's not make it hard on ourselves. I'm thinking this one. Now I've lost the tail feather. I guess at the end of the day, if we don't like a piece of it, we can just cut another little piece. I'm just pleased to be using these fabrics and pulling them out. And okay, we have our bits. So let's cut them out with a little seam allowance. Now, if you've never done needle turn applique, there's lots of online courses where you can sort of drop into a class with an expert. Now, I'm not an expert. I have never done a course. I am self-taught. I don't think I have. No, I don't think so. Many years ago when I was making lots of quilts, I would often embroider a needle turn applique onto the top of them. Probably around the time that Rachel from Roxy Creations was doing her kit, her block of the month with Homespun, the magazine. There was a lot of that style of work around at the time. So when I was in crafts, quilt shops, there would be pattern packs and, you know, using that needle turn applique technique. So it wouldn't surprise me if somewhere along the line I had a little something, but nothing comes to mind. Okay. I'm liking the way this is going. I'm still a little disappointed that I don't have Richard Morris fabrics to play with, but I don't want the design to completely disappear. And I want to save some of those fabrics that are left too, because if I decide to expand on this piece, maybe I get to the end of this series and I go, we're going again, you know. I just want to know that I've got a good chunk of those fabrics that I can just keep playing and maybe do some more applique. It'll come down to how much I've enjoyed this process here. Okay, now his little head. Love his plume, those feathers. They're just cute. He's such a sprightly looking fellow, isn't he? Oh, my belly's rumbling. I slept in this morning. It was good. Mind you, I didn't go to bed till midnight. I sort of was stitching and just couldn't put it down. You know how it is. So I was like, oh, just finish this. Before you know it, it was 15 minutes to the hour of midnight. And I was like, come on. And I was washing too. I think I decided about 8 o'clock at night that I'd do the washing. So I was pushing the washing through and stitching. Okay. Now, that little guy goes there. That's his wing. That's his tummy, his head, and his plume. All right, let's get him pinned onto the fabric. And then we'll have a little look at his positioning and see if we like where we're heading with him. So I think we'll do his tummy first and get his head, because we sort of need to know his height into this corner. I haven't stitched down this piece here. I've got one already in place, and I just don't know if I needed it. So we've got to have room for his feathers coming out. So that's going to go there. I'll do his neck next. And that'll be slightly under. So his neck would be the first piece that we stitch down so that the little head can sit on top of it. Then we've got his body. Actually, his body would be probably the first. This is the tricky stuff. I don't know if I got him in the right spot. We've got to have room for his wings. Let's put his dark wing on next. They look like they come out a little bit lower. I don't know if I like that dark wing. Looks too similar to the body. So I might rethink that one. There's a wing. There's the top wing, which needs the other wing underneath it. And there's the body will sit over the whole thing. Like the wing body, the body of the wing. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, he looks so distorted. See, this is where I get really nervous with needle turn applique, that it gets its shape back. The elegant design of the bird doesn't get lost in the turning of my fabric, and then it just doesn't look right. So I'm going to find something else for that under feather. I can use that as my template, can't I? Just doesn't look, or does it, now that everything's in place? No, I think we can do better. Let's have a look for something else. What could it be? Got a bit of pink, because there's pink in this around the place. How would that look? So. What else have we got? Digging deep. Got a green check. That might be interesting. That would be very whimsical. Okay, that is going to slide underneath all of that. There we go. Oh, I'm not convinced. See, that feels like it blends too much with that. No, don't like that one. Sorry, guys. Oh, look, there's remnants of a quilt. A bit of that green would be good, that one there. I wonder if I can find... No, but I found that green. It's very dark. I think I'm going to try the mustard. Are you sick of me finding a colour by now? You must be. Must be thinking, geez, girl, just... I know I wanted something dark down there to show the feathers going up, but I've changed my mind. I think probably the dark is my problem. All right, third time lucky. Let's get this feather in position. And a pin. Okay, I'm happy with him. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, now comes the tricky bit, and will I enjoy doing it? I promise I'm going to give it a good go. I can always unpick. I need to find a needle. Yeah, and I might go grab my threads, which are just down here. Let's see if I can find a neutral. Okay, I've got my grandma box of cottons from the days of making bridesmaid dresses. There would have to be a thread in there I could use. I reckon that one's going to be good. Okay, let's begin. Will the girl enjoy the process? I need a sip of coffee. I don't need a beading needle. That will not last long on my fingers. Now I know you can go around and glue the folds down, you know, pin them down with a bit of glue. But I'm going to try and do it without that. Try and move these things out of my way. Have a little try here, I think. So I don't have fingernails at the moment, and it helps if you have fingernails. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm not going to enjoy this, I can see. I can't even turn the fabric under. Anyway, let's keep going. We'll give it a good go. I know I love the effect of it, but I find that these finer details when you're turning fabrics, I really struggle with the dexterity. Now we don't need to turn that edge because it's not seen. We do need to... Okay, I'm pulling him apart. I'm going to get everything out of my way. I need to turn this blue section. Gosh, it's fiddly, guys. Hats off to you all that do noodle turn applique. because it's really fiddly. Actually, do I need to do that to that blue? Because, look, because the wing sits over it, but I'm going to. It'll sit fine if the whole line is turned. It's really thinking about what part of the bird you do next, because what part of the bird will be seen by the eye, because it doesn't have a piece over it. He looks really elongated. I suppose because his wing's not sitting on him. Oh, goodness me. I can't even get my fingernails in there. Gosh, he looks hideous. Gosh. Oh, let's get a needle and thread going. Here we go. Oh, I don't think I'm going to do this, guys. I think I'm going to tap out on this one. I can feel already that my fingers are struggling to turn the fabric. That's my first issue I can feel. I can feel that it is going to be frustrating if the animal, it's not so bad with flowers, but let's say the animal doesn't look like the animal. Oh, these little stitches. Oh, guys. Oh, it's all come flooding back to me. Oh, that fabric that I'm stitching on of Rachel's is really dense. I'd forgotten that too. And my needle is struggling to go through it. Oh, listen to me. I'm backpedaling. Getting a nice shape around the bottom of that guy. Getting this piece under. Goodness, go under. Where's my needle? Oh, goodness. I'm glad I started with the bird first and not the bloomin' peacock. That would have been a challenge. Oh, goodness me. I can't even see. There's this bit of blue fabric that keeps popping out. Got to catch that little edge. Oh, my goodness. I wear transitional glasses. So I've got to get my head in the right spot to see at certain distances, because it transitions through from seeing something miles away and seeing something, I've got to turn that, and seeing something really close. And then there's, you know, reading a book on your lap. Then there's sewing probably 3-4 inches up from your lap. So it was quite a challenge to get it right. The optometrist was like, bring in some sewing with you, bring in something that sort of would be in the vicinity. So as I'm going in to sort of turn this, I'm sort of struggling to actually focus on where the little stitch would go, to be honest. Gosh, I used to do so much of this years ago. I did this quilt. It was an angel quilt, and each panel was this angel sort of flying. It was a pattern that I got from Patchwork Angel up at the Sunshine Coast, and I thoroughly loved doing it. It had the most beautiful fabrics in this kit, and it was all needle turned applique, but I don't recall the pain I'm going through here. Maybe it's because I've got older. Maybe, oh, here we go. Here's this conversation. Are there some crafts that I just can't do anymore because I've reached the ripe age of 50? Oh my goodness. You want to say those things when you're 94, not 50. I know you're all giggling out there. This bloomin' bird. Oops, now I've got caught up on a pin. I haven't even checked if I'm on camera. This could be literally an hour of watching me struggle, only to find out she does change her mind and does something completely different. Because she's too old now to do such techniques. I think if I had a set of fingernails, it'd be a good help. Oh, goodness me. I've lost my thread off my needle. All this effort, and all I've done is stitched on the green bit. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm thinking overcast stitch is looking pretty good. I'm coming up the straight here, and that's actually quite easy. But I haven't turned enough fabric, I don't think, for the bird. Yeah, guys, I'm going to do overcast stitch. Like, this would be so nice, but keep going. Can't make a decision yet. Don't have enough information. Okay. Now, let's have a look at the head of the bird. Have we got him up the right way? What's his story? I think that's about right. So let's turn that over. Let's lay that there. Oh boy. Can't even see the edge. Oh boy. See, I'm not even talkative. I haven't even got a story to tell you today. I'm concentrating so bloomin' hard here. It's good when you get a straight edge. Am I doing something that's just too tricky? Am I biting off more than my skill level? How do I turn that? My skill level is. Quite possibly. That tends to be the way I roll, but I must say. Let's get that. I guess you've got to ask yourself, are you going to enjoy this? Am I going to go away from this experience and go, oh gosh, there's hours of work there. I'd rather be doing something else. If that's the question that you are asking yourself, you need to stop and reconsider the process, because life is too darn short to spend your time doing something you just are not enjoying it. That's my theory. It's always been my theory. If I don't like what I'm doing, I'm very quick to stop and change direction. And I've applied that to my career, to my personal life, just everywhere, because I've unfortunately lost some friends that were too young. And I thought, well, we haven't even done this with them. Like, you know, we haven't travelled, we haven't, you know, all those things that you think about the future. So it makes you realise that life is short, it is precious. And do I want to be struggling with needle turn? Applique. Where's a pin? Top of his head's not looking so round. Oh my goodness. You know what'll happen is I'll end up seeing some work like this at a quilt show or in a quilt shop, and I'm going to stand there for 20 minutes and study it, because I'm going to have to take my hat off to them. This is a real trick. How have I gone? I've 43 minutes and I've stitched that. Nah, I'm out. That's ridiculous. Oh, I'll finish his head and then I'll make a decision. 43 minutes. And I've struggled around this corner of this bloomin' bird's head. I think I want to make it more rusticy. Like, I don't know. I really like bringing crochet elements into. How am I going to do that with this style of stitching? If it was overlay stitch, I could bring some crochet elements down the side of this bird and embellish him up. That would be fun. Oh goodness, here we go. Down the other side, stitch by stitch. Oh, you guys must be thinking this is hilarious. I am getting into a bit of a rhythm here, I must say. But am I making a song, or am I just beating on a top of a saucepan, making a random rhythm? Am I making a song? I don't think so. Is there a talented musician working in your midst? Nope. Goodness me. Go in there. Oh well. We've had nearly an hour, 45 minutes of needle turn applique experience. So anyone who wants to go forth and needle turn applique their piece, good luck to you. This is how you do it. If you've got fingernails that can turn the fabric over for you, that'd be your first tool in your toolbox. Okay, he looks a bit odd. Maybe he's okay. Maybe that then just sits on there and makes him look gorgeous. But I don't know. That would be turned. Oh dear, oh dear. No. Like, look at this edge. It looks terrible. It's like, there's a picture. It's a beautiful sweeping line. And I've got, oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, now there's pins falling out. That's my needle. All right. Okay, that was an experience. So, our findings are thus. We are not, look at it, looks terrible. We are going to unpick what we have done in the next 15 minutes. And we are not going to do needle turn applique. Hats off to everyone who does it. It is not for this little black duck, because this little black duck doesn't want to do tedious work anymore. This reminds me of those counted cross-stitch patterns. Just tedious, constantly doing the same thing, occasionally checking a pattern to see where you need to go. Like, I'm not into that anymore. I want a freedom to create, freedom to stylize things, not know where I'm heading. That's me now. Mindful slow stitch does not include needle turn applique. So if you want to watch needle turn applique, this is not the channel. I do like that mustard thread that I picked up there, so that is going to be my go-to thread, because I think it'll blend a little bit. Okay, there's my pieces. Let's get rid of all these pins that were turning this. Actually, I need to take them all out because I've got to recut the pieces so that they're accurate to size, don't I? And then we're going to whip stitch them into position. Okay, now I put all my bits in the bin, so now I need to find all my little bits. We need to cut the exact piece out of each one of these. I think that bird was watching me the whole time thinking, the girl is not going to do this. I wonder if I should cut a new piece of this, or will it be fine? Just don't want that fabric to be distorted in any way. We're coming up to 50 minutes, guys. So we didn't achieve much today, but anyway, it was fun. It was a good lesson. I'm going to chalk it up to not something we want to do going forward. Okay, so then it was this one. So I'm going to finish the video up very, very shortly. We'll see how far we can get with prepping these pieces. And then in the next video, next Friday, you will see a second attempt at the bird. So I do apologise for wasting your time. If you wanted to see some action, you're at the wrong channel. Oh, see, now I can just lay things down. I don't have to think about what has to sit on top of what. I can just put it all down and then just stitch it. Then I can think about embellishing if I want to bring some crocheted elements into the little bird. Oh, much better, guys. Much better. You got to know when you're batting above your pay grade, don't you? You got to know when you're not a silk ribbon embroiderer. That's another one that I've got a few silk ribbons, but I just don't feel like I do them justice. So that's one course that I'm keeping an eye out for. If I come across someone who does silk ribbon embroidery, they're often at those gift fairs and things like that, I would be very keen to do a class because I just feel like I'm missing some techniques. I've watched quite a few YouTube videos, excuse me. I've watched quite a few YouTube videos, but I don't know, it just doesn't quite look right. Maybe it is right, I don't know. And the silk ribbons are not cheap to buy. And you do seem to go through a lot of them with just doing a simple flower. So whether there's some tricks to it, there probably is, but it's definitely one of those things that I would like to have a class in. Well, that's an hour of my life I won't get back. Okay, I'll finish cutting these out. That should bring us right up. And then I will stop the video and we'll catch up again next Friday and start our bird again using a different technique. At least my elements will be cut ready to go. And I've been able to reuse the fabrics, which is lovely. Not that I don't have plenty of scraps here. Okay, coming around that edge and done. All right, there's all my little pieces. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. We're ready to go. Take two. I could probably not even show you this video, but I want to just show you exactly how it all works in my craft room. So that's part of the process. Needle turn applique is not going to happen And we're going to play with overcast stitch, I think, just like we have around that edge. And then I want to embellish. I want to bring in some layers of fabrics and things like that in the way of laces and crocheting and all sorts of things. So I think I'll have a whole lot more fun. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great week. Bye for now.